A U.S. Air Force colonel sent to debunk UFOs, a cold morning off the coast of Newfoundland, and a pair of extraterrestrials underwater, fixing their craft like roadside mechanics. For years, his job was to cover up the truth, but what he saw that day would change everything. Will you believe? Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Mostly True Alien Stories.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects.
In Mexico, pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
Welcome back to Mostly True Alien Stories, the podcast where we take one real reported alien encounter, we break down the facts, and then decide if it's a mostly true alien story or not. I'm Neil Girandola, and with me is my co-host, Andrew Triana, and I know he's already loading up his debunking ammo for sure. Andrew, say hello to all our aliens. That's what you're reading their minds.
No, I'm sending them telepathical greetings. For everyone else, hello, everyone. But for the aliens...
Okay, I think they got it. All right, listen, quick reminder, hit subscribe right now so you don't miss the next case and help us grow our channel. And please drop your thoughts into the comments because we do want to hear what you think, if you think these stories hold any water or sink on sight. Little foreshadowing in our story for today. Hey, listen, before we get into our thing today, though, lots been going on out in the alien world. There's the Buga sphere thing happening, and there's a little bit of controversy happening. They had the report came out from the University of Georgia where they say the Buga sphere is 12,560 years. It's a carbon dating test. Right. That they did. Now, there's been a lot of controversy over that because the document itself had a lot of spelling errors. There were things that were redacted. Even the logo on the document from the University of Georgia is an old logo. Right. So not saying that it's not, false. Maybe some administrator, put it all together and sent it out. But it got to the point where
old letterhead,
I guess so, where Jaime Maussan took to the airwaves yesterday. He was on the on Nacho Rojo's podcast.
Of course.
Yeah, Verdado Oculta or whatever it's called.
It starts like this. Nacho! And then it kind of fades out, and then he starts. It's freaking brilliant. We should do something like that.
We could do, like, mostly
true
alien
stories.
Yeah, we could do that. We'll add that in. But anyway, Jaime Maussan is frustrated. So he went on Nacho's thing because he says that he's tired of everyone nitpicking over something that he believes is true alien tech. Okay. And he says that he himself was surprised that it was dated to 12,560 years ago. He thought it would only be 500 to 600 years. But he went on to say that foraminifera test results that were in there, he says, that's because, and I said this earlier to you, I believe, and we made a video on it. He stated, though, that it's because it probably was in the Great Flood or it lived in the ocean. And that's why that has the foraminifera testing on it. For those of you who didn't listen to any of our podcasts, the foraminifera is a fossilized ocean life that's found in carbon dating when they carbon date biogenic type materials. So they couldn't test the metal. They had to scrape resin from the thing within the grooves. They tested that, and that's what came back to say that it's 12,560 years old.
Just to make it easier for people to understand, it's sea monkeys.
Yeah, they found sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys. Yeah, there's a sea monkeys ship. They crashed here, and that's how we were able to get them and put them in our little tanks to keep them as pets.
That's right. It all
thousands, millions of them.
Yeah,
millions of them came in the 70s. It's crazy.
But my point of Jaime Maussan coming on to this podcast, I get it. He's defending the machine. And listen, it may be alien tech. It could be. The problem is, there's a couple of things. He also said he defended the test, but he threw Stephen Greer under the bus. And he said, well, it's Stephen Greer that's handling all of this. It's Stephen Greer that set up the testing. That's Stephen Greer that found the place to get it tested. And he's the one who delivered the message of the 12,560 years. So he kind of threw him under the bus, but he defended the test. But I think he's kind of protecting himself, because if this thing goes south, I mean, Stephen Greer's going to be
all right. Well, Greer,
holding the bag.
yeah. Well, he won't be, because he'll give it to Flippy, his little alien friend, and he'll fix it.
He'll take it.
He'll do a flasher thing
Yeah,
like Men in
yeah.
Black, and everyone will forget.
Uh-huh.
No, I just find the whole thing just freaking hilarious, because the chances of a letter coming from the university, from any university, with the wrong letterhead and misspellings, come on.
Even sentence structuring was weird. Like there was,
Yeah.
you know, the way it was sent.
Yeah, because it was probably written in Chat GPT.
Well, listen and Jaime, if you're listening to this, here's my advice.
Come on our show.
Well, yeah, come on our shows, one, but two, stop being the guy who's giving us all the information. It's only coming from Greer and you. Let University of Georgia get on and go, holy shit, we found something that this was dated 12,506 years ago. Here's the chain of custody of the sample. We took it from his office. We bagged it. NASA officials were there. We did all this. We transferred it. We, you know, it was all, took it into the thing. We tested it. And this is what we found. We can't believe it. No experts are coming out and saying
Defending it.
This is valid. And that's the problem. And I so want this to be real. I want this to be alien tech. Yeah, I would have had all the experts saying, yeah, this is true. No, this is not true. This is true. This is not
Greer
true.
in all this? Why doesn't Greer come out and say this is true or this is not true? He's silent too.
But no. But the thing is, to me, Greer and that whole group, they attach themselves to this very quickly. And I think almost too quickly. But now Greer's doubling down. Jaime's doubling down with this whole carbon dating thing. And, you know, but Jaime did throw Greer under the bus. So we'll see where this goes. It's a pretty interesting story. I really do want it to be true. And I will say this, too. Those that believe in the sphere, it's sacrilegious for us to be even speculating that this thing is not real. This is the one story I've run into where people defend this to the end. It's like politics, man. It's like really, really.
You know, and we're just being open for discussion here. But
sure,
what has been presented to us does not prove anything. It doesn't prove that it's alien tech.
I'm not convinced yet.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It proves absolutely nothing. So that's my opinion.
Sure.
Which is, you know, worth nothing. But
I mean, listen, I'm right now, again, I'm hopeful that this is real. I haven't seen anything yet that is hard facts that says, yeah, this is real. But anyway, all right. So the other thing too, did you see that the asteroid that's heading, the meteor or whatever it is, that's heading?
It's a giant asteroid, dude. It's a city killer, is what they call it.
City killer. But NASA's now deciding whether they're going to send a nuclear warhead up there to blow it out of the freaking sky.
Why?
Well, there's this theory: if they're protecting the moon like that, maybe the moon is hollow. Maybe there are bases. Maybe there are aliens living there. Why else would you do this?
Yeah, there's no cities.
It's not going to do anything. I mean, yes, it'll be a huge explosion, but I don't think. I mean,
but it won't even be an explosion. It'll just be like thump, dust.
Yeah,
there's nothing on the moon.
Sure,
except for the secret city. It's a city killer. So what? Manhattan is what? The island is what? 2 miles long, something like that. The island of Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's not very long. You know, or Long Island. Think about that. It's that size.
I like the idea that they're protecting the moon because the moon's hollow and moon is weird and the moon has base camps.
How do we know the moon is hollow? We never drilled into it.
I don't know. But
Did we even go to the moon?
You know, that bell ringing story where they I don't know, they did hit it with something and then it vibrated.
Yeah.
Abnormally.
Yeah. Space.
I'll tell you what, that's where this is headed. People are going to start, all the conspiracies are going to come out that, we're protecting the moon because it is hollow. Why are we sending a nuclear warhead up there to try to blast this thing? Although I would love to see this. I would love to see NASA. I would love that to be a successful test for them to shoot a warhead up there and knock a meteor or an asteroid out of the sky.
Would it explode? I don't think it would even explode.
In space?
Yeah. Nothing explodes in space.
That's not true.
Yeah. Only if there's oxygen inside a container, that will explode. But the thing's not going to explode. There's no air. There's no oxygen.
Didn't you watch
Armageddon?
Didn't you watch Armageddon?
Yeah, that's called a fake Hollywood movie.
No, that's based on truth.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Does it will a nuclear warhead explode in space? I mean, I'm gonna look it up.
I don't-
I'm looking that shit up. Yes, a nuclear warhead would detonate and release its energy in space, but differently than on Earth. Instead of a fireball and shockwave, this is what you mean. A
Yeah.
space detonation would create a large burst of electromagnetic radiation, a high altitude electromagnetic pulse, and charged particles, which can severely damage or destroy satellites and disrupt electronics in orbit and on the ground. So that would really fuck a lot of shit. Oh, you have a question? You have a question?
Have they ever tested it? Like, think about Oppenheimer when they tested that nuclear device. Nobody knew what was going to happen. They
Yeah, I
didn't
had
know
no
what
idea.
the chain reaction was going to
Yeah.
be. So, but we've never done it, but let's do it.
Well, here's the thing. It does say here that it would potentially lead to catastrophic impacts on global communications and navigation systems. So let's not do this. Let's not
So
do this.
NASA, don't do it.
Just
let the rock hit.
let it go.
You can rebuild.
But-
you can rebuild on the moon.
Which leads to my theory, which brings more weight to it. Why do it if it could lead to catastrophic problems down here? Because they need to protect the moon. Because it's hollow and they got alien bases up there.
Because Elon Musk has a house there.
And we're living in a simulation. And Elon Musk lives up there. He's like, I'm heading home for the day.
Peace out.
Yeah. Make sure they don't blow up the freaking satellite up there. Or whatever. All right. All right. Well, anyway, all interesting stuff. I'm gonna keep our eyes on all of these things. Are you ready for today's case that takes us back to the early 1950s, Andrew? To the icy waters of Newfoundland, Canada, and the story of a U.S. Air Force officer whose entire job was to tell the world UFOs were not real. Until one day, he just couldn't.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. This is early 1950s. It took place in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. Our lead character here in this report is Lieutenant Colonel Richard French, and he is the lead investigator for Project Blue Book from the U.S. Air Force. Now, Colonel French wasn't just some random witness. He was the guy they sent to kill stories. As one of Project Blue Book's lead investigators, his orders were clear: debunk UFO sightings no matter what the evidence said. Now, Blue Book, for those of you who are not aware, it was the U.S. Air Force's official UFO investigation program, and it ran from 1952 to 1969. Their mission wasn't to prove aliens existed. It was exactly the opposite. It was to explain away any reports. Every sighting got filed, it got categorized, and in most cases, just dismissed as like weather balloons or aircraft or misidentifications. But during an investigation in Newfoundland, French claims he saw something that flipped his world upside down. Now, Richard French was a career Air Force officer. He was disciplined. He's by the book kind of guy. To me, adds more substance to this story. In the early 50s, when UFO sightings started spiking, the Air Force needed investigators who could handle sensitive assignments without losing their cool, and French was apparently one of those guys. Now, French said 2 UFOs had been reported entering the waters near St. John's Harbor, and his job was going to be easy that day. He's just going to confirm it was a hoax and write the report and move on with his day, except he said he saw it with his own eyes. And here's what he described when he arrived to the scene. He said he saw 2 craft. They were circular, submerged just beneath the water's surface and floating a few feet below. He estimated each craft's diameter at about 18 feet and a thickness, meaning height, of roughly 3 feet. They were located not far from the shore, so only about 20 feet away. That's not far at all. And spaced a few feet apart. And the water was fairly clear, so French claimed it allowed him to see the details on the underside of the craft as well. And then as for the aliens that were on these crafts, he said, that were working on the crafts, he said, French said the aliens were about 2 to 3 feet tall. They were light gray in color, very thin, long arms. Their heads were described as wider at the top than at the jawline, with slanted eyes from which he claimed he couldn't discern pupils.
Yeah,
They're
just black. Yeah, like the Greys, like we always see the Greys.
Yeah.
They were in scuba gear, though. They had a scuba suit on.
Well, I didn't know that. Sorry, we'll get to this. Their arms, in his words, had either 2 or 3 fingers. He wasn't certain, and he emphasized their movements were deliberate and mechanical. They weren't floating aimlessly. And occasionally, one of the aliens would reposition to the side of the craft so that part of it was visible. And French said he could see them through the water, moving underwater. And then he claimed that at one point, one craft began to rise, breaking through the water's surface at about 100 miles per hour. And then it accelerated to an estimated 2,500 to 3,000 miles per hour as it disappeared. And then roughly 20 minutes later, both crafts returned and slowed. They re-entered the water and resumed the repair work scenario before departing again. So I guess they were working on whatever the problem was, and then they had to go, test it and then bring it back to continue working on it. But this is where it gets, and you think that's straight. This is where it even gets even stranger. At the time, French buried the story, right? So he just said it was nothing, and his assignment demanded it. So as we mentioned earlier, Project Blue Book, they weren't there again to find UFOs. It was just, they just got to, explain them away. And French had a reputation for doing exactly that. But now here we are decades later in 2012, and they're at the citizen hearing on disclosure in Washington, D.C. And Richard French finally went public, and he told the world, yes, UFOs are real. I saw one underwater. I saw its occupants, and I was ordered to keep it quiet. So now everybody's stunned by this testimony, because here was this guy. He's not a farmer, not a fisherman. He's not, he's not a random civilian by any means.
No.
He's a U.S. Air Force colonel, and he's standing in front of cameras and lawmakers saying he once witnessed 2 extraterrestrials repairing a submerged craft, kind of like the first Whistleblower, I think. So, of course, skeptics are immediately pointing out that French's later years were filled with these colorful stories, and they claimed he exaggerated. Others question his memory, but for the believers, of course, his credibility as a Blue Book insider gave his testimony serious weight. So what do we do with this one, Andrew? Because here's a man whose job was literally to debunk UFOs. He ends up confessing, and decades later, that he saw one, not in the skies, but beneath the sea, witnessed them working on it. I want to know, do you think if this is a mostly true alien story or not? I'm sure you are loaded up. You've got some more information. You're going to weigh in as we usually do. And folks, we'd like to have you comment in on whether you think this is a mostly true alien story or not. All right, Andrew.
Right.
I know you're already shaking your head, but what's your take on this?
All right. So just a little bit more history. He was lieutenant colonel. He was a lieutenant colonel. He was a former F-1 fighter pilot, and he fought in Korea and in Vietnam.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge, right? So this is this is like someone that has probably seen a lot of stuff in his life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was known as the king of the debunking, basically.
Oh, they called him the king?
The king,
called him the king.
The king, right? Okay, so
I wonder if he had a T-shirt that said "King of Debunking."
It was 1950. They didn't do that.
King
they
of
didn't
Debunking.
have the garage where they had the iron on.
Listen, folks, I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says "King of Debunking"
and give it to me.
Yeah, Andrew gets it.
Okay, so he was stationed in Germany when he got a call from OSI director, telling him, "Hey, you need to go to Newfoundland. There's been seeing some stuff there. I want you to go there and check it out."
Okay, so it's a call that came in.
As
usually does. A call comes in. They assign the King of Debunking to head on over there and check it out. Okay.
Okay. So he said he went to Newfoundland, right? And they took him to the area where there was a crowd of people. A crowd of people. He said there were at least 100 people out on this dock in the middle of the water.
Looking and pointing.
Police officers.
Yeah.
People from the town, not just him.
Yeah.
So they never described like, all right, folks, get back, Lieutenant Colonel's here. Back up. They didn't say they did any of that, right? They just said that he just said that there was a ton of people there.
Well, I'm sure he shows up incognito in a sense. I mean, he probably walks on, the dock. I mean, it's not he's sent to investigate, but there's definitely other law enforcement involved. There's probably, town sheriff, whatever, people are there, but it's not like he comes in guns blazing, lights on, all that stuff. So.
All right, get out.
Get back.
So
King of Debunking's here.
So it was actually it wasn't a dock. I'm sorry. It was a wharf.
Right.
They were out on a
Right.
wharf, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people. He said they also had divers in the water.
Wait a minute. There were
There were divers
already
in the water,
investigating this?
already trying to investigate this. And I guess he probably got the divers out of the water, got everybody out of the water. And all of this is based on a testimony that he gave in 2013, which I'll give it a little bit of description like that. But I'm going to talk about what he said he saw.
Okay.
He said the water was crystal clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely crystal clear.
Yeah.
He said it wouldn't have mattered if it was 200 feet, 2,000 feet,
Makes a
20
big-
feet.
That makes a big difference. I mean, you can see.
Right.
Yeah.
So he said it was 20 feet. He for sure knew it was 20 feet. He said it's crystal clear, and there were 2 submerged saucers, right? He said he didn't see anything other than the 2 saucers for a while, and then
Yeah.
he saw 2 guys swimming, 2 occupants. He called them
He didn't
occupants.
say, he never said aliens, right?
Never said
mentioned
aliens.
aliens.
Never said aliens, right?
Just 2 dudes. Could have been 2 anything.
Right. Right. It could have been 2 divers, 2 of the divers that
Sure.
were down there swimming around, right?
Sure. Sure.
He said it looked like they were doing something to the craft.
I wonder who
Okay.
the divers were, though. Were they like legit,
Well,
like
that's the thing. You know, I tried to
s-
find
Coast
testimony,
Guard?
witnesses that came forward to say they saw the ships. None of that. Absolutely none of that.
No-
That's why
no-
I'm questioning whether there were 100 people there or not.
Okay. Yeah, because usually 100 people, you'd have a list of names, right?
You-
Or you take a.
At
But,
least,
again, you don't know because remember, he's there to debunk it. That information may have been washed.
right, right. But I mean, come on, somebody would have come forward by now to say, I saw it.
Okay,
I
so you
saw
didn't
it.
find anything? Not one,
Nothing.
not a couple,
Not a
nothing?
couple, nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
Everything just focuses on what
What he
Lieutenant
said.
Colonel Richard French said. Right.
Okay.
The ships were down there, right? He said he looked at them, the
The
swimmers
UFOs.
now,
The
the
UFOs,
UFOs,
right,
and then
yeah.
he saw that he looked at he got a closer look because the 2 little guys swimming around came up closer to the surface, but they were just closer on the top side of the ship. He said then a door opened. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the guys went in. The other guy swam off.
It's not a big, they're not big saucers either. They weren't big. I mean, I think they're
18
just
feet.
Okay, 18 feet. Okay,
18 feet. That's, I mean,
I mean,
2 cars put together,
sure.
a bus.
Hmm.
Not okay.
Not very high.
3 feet.
Yeah, I mean, 18 feet by 3 feet, that's not a lot.
Well, the guys are only 3 feet tall, but if they're sitting half, they're only.
I'm just saying, it's not very big.
Maybe they fly laying down.
Those just, I guess it's the compact model of UFOs, right? There's a better mileage.
Right. It was the
Yeah.
first time. That's why it crashed.
Yeah.
That's why it was
right.
in the
That's
water.
right. They were testing it.
They were testing it. Then they were
Yeah.
like, hey, I wonder if we
Yeah.
got a good sail here. Come on down to Crazy Ray Aliens. We got saucers for
Crazy
you.
aliens. Come down to Crazy Aliens. You get the best deal on this saucer.
I'm Crazy Ray.
Crazy Ray Alien. All right.
So the door opens. He goes in the ship, and he said it started.
Wait,
lifting.
the alien goes back in the ship. The door opens. He goes
Just
in the
one.
ship.
The one
with the
swam
door
away.
shut.
Yep. And the freaking thing started moving, and then shot out of the water.
Mm. It went in the air. I thought it stayed in the water.
No, it
Went
went
in
in
the
the air
Mm.
above the water and disappeared.
Wow. That's cool.
Disappeared. And he said 20 minutes later, which is what you had reported, 20 minutes later,
Hmm. It returns.
it comes back at 2,500 miles per hour and then slows to basically a stop and then enters the water.
Wow. That's cool.
Then the thing opens up again. I guess there's still a ripple in the water, right?
Yeah.
Still ripple happening.
Mhm.
Ripples happening.
I mean, the only way it could open is if it's on the surface. So, right? I mean, they're not opening
No, they have-
underwater.
Yeah, they're opening underwater. Under
Well, How
the
do they
water.
keep the water out?
alien tech, bruh.
Okay. That explains it. That explains it. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Wait.
that explains. No, that explains it.
Definitely alien tech. I'm
Yeah,
getting
it's
that.
all you got. You know, you
Our
only
producers
have
are
to say,
talking to me right now. They're telling me it's definitely
Yeah,
alien
yeah.
tech.
This is funny. That could be the answer for anything. How does that work? Alien tech?
Alien tech.
Okay. All right.
Right.
I accept that. Okay.
Hey, I've got a callus on my toe. How do I get that off?
Alien tech.
Sweet.
Mhm.
See?
Mhm.
Okay. So he said the guy swam out again. The other guy swam back. They did some more stuff.
There's only 2 aliens.
The only 2 that he saw.
Mm-hmm.
Door opens, back inside, and both ships, pew, gone.
Took off in the sky again.
In the sky.
From the water to the sky.
From the water to the sky.
That's cool. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the full account of everything that
Sure.
that he talked
Sure.
about.
And
So
but,
now-
he also, he he saw these aliens. He described them, what
He
they looked like.
described them. He said they were 3 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
They were gray.
Yeah.
They had black eyes. He said it was everything that you thought an alien would look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Mm.
That we know of. Because he talked about this in 2013
Yeah.
is when he came clean.
Right. Right.
So since his job was to explain everything away, right? Nothing was going to be true.
yeah, he has to debunk it. That was his job at Blue Book.
Right.
I don't care if the alien comes up and taps you on the forehead. You're going to
Right.
say it was.
You're gonna
it
say
was
that
not an alien.
Not an alien. Right.
Yeah.
So
It's not an alien.
So
Right.
in 2013, a former FAA official and private commercial and military pilots got together with former congressmen at the National Press Club in D.C.
Okay.
to hold a mock congressional committee.
Right. It's one of the first disclosure meetings kind
Yes.
of things.
Yes, to discuss and disclose
Right.
the strange UAPs and what they had witnessed and bring disclosure to the masses, I guess, to this
Yes.
event.
One of the
It was-
earlier days of that.
It was called the citizen hearing on disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is similar to what Greer did a few years ago
Right.
when he got all the guys together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And
So-
this was on tape or video too, right?
Oh, it's
Didn't
all
they-
videoed. Yeah,
video,
it's all video of him talking there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he
But
said,
this is the first time we're hearing his story.
right. Now,
This
this is going to blow your mind. The reason why he was there was because all the other people that were testifying in this
Mhm.
all were believers.
So what do you mean? So they needed
Believers of UFOs.
They needed a non-believer there?
I guess they brought him in to be the debunker, and then he ended up turning that upside down because he came in as a believer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because think about this. All those military people, right? In the military, you would normally be discredited or mocked. Think about back in the 50s.
Yeah, in 2020. Yeah,
If he
back
had
then,
come,
especially.
if he had come forward and said, guys, I know you sent me there, but it's a real ship.
Yeah, they probably
it's a
gave him so
real
much shit.
Freaking
They probably
ship.
gave
Right.
probably gave him so much crap and
Yep.
pressured him
Yep.
to hide this. All right, go ahead.
So he said that in his report, when he went back to tell them what he saw,
Mhm.
I love this. He said, I weasel worded it.
He weasel worded it.
He
That's what he
weasel
said?
worded it. Yeah.
That
If
was
you
his
heard this
quote?
guy talk, he talked like
yeah.
that. Right.
Right.
He's like, I weasel worded it.
Yeah,
Right.
he's hardcore lieutenant colonel.
Oh, yeah.
French. You listen. I had to weasel word. this.
Right. He said that what he described to them was a foreign or unrecognizable vehicle. And that was his way of debunking it.
It's interesting because why didn't he just write something like,
Spaceship, 2 aliens flying away.
what's the type of people that live out in Newfoundland?
Eskimos?
Sort of like Eskimos, yeah, but not Eskimos.
No, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what they're called.
They're
But yeah,
called-
they were under the water with one of their canoes that had turned over. And they were patching the hole on the canoe. It was unrecognizable and a foreign vehicle. Hey, that sounds pretty good, right?
That sounds really good. Inuit.
The Inuit people?
Yeah. I mean, he could have, because they work on these small crafts. They're native to that area. They wear Eskimo hoods and
Right. They
big
would be
jack-
not, and they weren't big people. They were
and
little
they,
people.
right. They're little people and they wear those goggles. They wear those wooden carved goggles with slits in the eyes. I mean,
So they're under the water fixing a canoe.
mixing a canoe, maybe. Anyway, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, why not write that instead? What did he say?
He said it was a foreign, unrecognizable vehicle.
That's it. That's it, man.
That's it.
He did word
And then
weasel that. He word weaseled that.
He weasel worded it.
Weasel worded it.
I
Right?
weasel worded it. That's what he said. So I listened to the interview with this guy. This guy this guy won me over because he was freaking hilarious. They were asking him questions, and they were like, "Would you say that you saw a UFO?" And he's like, "You goddamn right, I did."
Wow.
And I was like, "Dang,
wow.
right?
You need me on that wall. Yeah. Okay.
You can't handle the UFOs.
I got the truth.
You can't handle the UFOs and the truth, boy."
It was also a good opportunity for him to share other reports that were debunked that he possibly thought could have been real.
He said this wasn't the first UFO that he saw.
Oh,
He
let's
said he
go.
saw several UFOs. He said he even saw a UFO fly into a volcano.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he
And
say
then
where?
fly out. He didn't say where.
I mean, that's like whistleblowing stuff right there. That's one of the first whistleblowers. I wonder, did he ever feel threatened?
No,
Okay.
no,
Hmm.
no.
All
So,
the whistleblowers
but
today feel threatened.
you have to remember, man, that if he had come out earlier, they would have destroyed his career. They would have discredited him. They would have
Yeah.
done all of that. And the
Right.
reason why he came out in 2013 was he's like, "I'm 83 years old. I don't give a shit."
He was 83.
83. He said, "I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell it all." That's
Good
what
for
he
him.
said.
Good
And
for
I was
him.
like, dang,
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah.
Way to freaking go.
Yeah.
So he's a freaking war hero as a pilot,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think it sucks that here they create Project Blue Book, right? And we hear about Project Blue Book, and we think that Project Blue Book is a good thing.
During Blue
Yeah.
Book, we had no idea it was nefarious.
And again, here we go.
They were what they were doing was protecting the UFO conversation. They're protecting anything they may have had on aliens. They were keeping that a secret.
He said he had seen lots of stuff,
Mm.
but this one stood out the most to him because he was close to it.
Yeah.
And he saw it he saw it like basically on the front lines. And it's fascinating that they brought up this hearing, that just so happened in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys got together and said, "Come on, now's our chance to talk. Now's our chance to come forward and tell everybody these things are real." Right.
Yeah.
And they said, "We're going to bring in, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring in Lieutenant Colonel Richard French, who was the king of debunking.
Mm.
We're going to ask him to come to this mock trial or mock committee meeting.
Yeah.
And let's hear what he has to say about UFOs."
Yeah.
And then he gets there and he tells them they're real.
Who organized that? Do you know? Do we have the names?
I couldn't get names on it. They just said that it was a former FAA official and private commercial and military pilots
Oh, okay.
that put this thing together, and some former Congress people, apparently.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's a big thing. It was at the National Press Club in DC. I mean, that's a big. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Now, French went on to do an article with the Huffington Post, but that was released in 2017, where
Okay.
he talked just basically the same thing that you and I have talked about.
Yeah.
He did elaborate a little bit more, and that's why these guys are saying, "Dude, he's old. Look, he's changing his story."
Changing his
They're
story doesn't remember.
They're trying to discredit him. They forget about his military background and that he's a veteran. They forget all about that stuff because it's not what you did for me yesterday. It's what you can do for me today.
It is interesting. But I would lean into a guy like that at his age. I can buy into
I
that.
trust him. Yeah.
I can buy into that. So
Yeah.
but we don't know what his mental capacity was, but
No. He was like, "Oh, look, a butterfly."
mhm. And he didn't write a book. He didn't do anything to make money. Wasn't
Right.
getting paid for appearances. He wasn't doing any of that stuff.
Right.
So what is he? Just attention? I don't think so.
No. Why, dude? Come on. He's 83 years old. He doesn't need any attention at this point in his life.
No, he wants to be left alone, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So are you you have any more you want to add to this story? Are you ready to weigh in on whether this is a mostly true alien
I'm ready
story
to
or
weigh
not?
in. I'm
All
ready
right,
to weigh in.
Andrew, why don't you weigh in and let us know and the public know whether you think this is a mostly true alien story based on all the information we have heard today.
I am going to say this. Yes. It is a mostly true alien story.
Wow. Not like, not like, oh, there's no question. You're saying no question. This is mostly true. This is aliens. This is aliens.
There's always
You're,
a question.
you're
There's
saying
always
this,
a question.
he
There's no
walked up,
photos. There's no photos or nothing.
there's no
There's
other witnesses
no other witnesses
that we know of.
that we know of other than his testimony. Other than he said there was 100 people there, and there
Mhm.
could have been just 15 people there. Maybe at 83, he's elaborating. But I can't believe that nobody else in that whole area didn't see this. It was on a wharf. They just didn't come forward because they're scared. Think about it. It's the 50s. You're going to come forward and say, I saw an alien ship? Or is the Canadian government working with the U.S. government to say, if you say you saw anything, we'll kill you. We'll burn your farm to the ground. They won't find you.
Well,
We've
I
heard
mean,
that before. We've heard
that's
that before.
you go back to 1950 and something like this came up, and a government agency like Blue Book comes in, and they have all the connections. They can grab all the intel. They can wipe your name and anything off the face of
Sheep
the
dip.
earth.
Sheep
They
dip.
sheep dip you, and they can go to that local police and say, those reports, they didn't exist. Let's get rid of them. Any
Right?
names
It
you
didn't
have that are
exist.
involved in this, we get rid of that, and we move on with our day. And back in 1950, that's what could very easily have happened. I mean, it could happen today too, but I think easier back then. Blue Book was probably scary agency. It was probably, they show up and we're going to investigate this.
Yeah,
We need
probably
everything
people
you got. What do
disappear,
you
right.
got? Yeah, so we're going to make stuff disappear. So, all right. So you say it is a mostly true
Yeah.
alien story.
I got to tell you, I listened to the recordings of this guy's testimony, and dude, I love this guy. He's freaking hilarious. He is freaking hilarious. He's talking with such, he wasn't talking like a crazy person.
Mhm.
He was like, oh my God, aliens are down there. He's like, I saw a ship. I saw two things. Now, the only thing I question him on, this is why I'm like, yeah, it's mostly true, but there's still some stuff in here that's like, how did he know that ship was traveling at 2,500 miles per hour?
Now he was a
He was a
in the air.
pilot.
He was a pilot in the Air
I
Force.
get
He
it.
understands speed.
I get it.
And he understands, I think he's got a sense for it. And I think probably as the years go on, maybe that assessment increased in his
Right.
mind,
Right. And so when they asked him questions too, when they said, well, how deep in the water were the two crafts? And he was like, they were 20 feet. And it was like, 20 feet's a long way in the water. How could you see in the water? And he was like, it was crystal clear.
Yeah.
He said it wouldn't have made any difference if it was 200 or 2,000 feet. I still could have seen
when
it.
you're on a wharf, I'm wondering, I thought he meant they're 20 feet out from the beach or from the land. He's saying they're 20 feet deep, but how far out were they from that he could see?
They were
How-
literally right off wherever that beach was that was close by. They were out on the wharf. I'm not sure how big wharfs are.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't fully understand that.
I
'Cause
think
if
of
I'm
the dock
looking out.
in Jaws of the two guys with the rump roasts trying to get the shark.
Right. If I was, because I was imagining it by his description that I'm kind of up higher and I'm looking down at them and they're literally 20 feet away from me in the water, crystal clear water. So that's how I envisioned it. But I guess we'll never really know exactly what that description meant. You say it is a mostly true alien story. I loved all the details you filled in. And I did not see or hear the videos or the audio tape of his testimony during that. So just from the details that you shared with me and the report as I had read it, I am also going to say that this is a mostly true alien story.
We
But
agree.
but what I want to point out is I think because you are always a non-believer of this stuff, I'm wondering if you are more influenced because you were able to have a personal experience
Connection with him.
connection with him because
probably,
of that.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if that influenced you more because this kind of story, we've heard these kinds of crazy stories before and we didn't have any audio or video and you were immediately like, yeah, this is bullshit. So
Right.
I'm just wondering if that influenced you. In any
Right.
way.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I felt the same way about Pascagoula, right? That
Yeah.
something happened to those guys. I don't know whether it was alien or not, but something definitely
You had
happened to
audio.
those guys because I had audio
You
recording.
had audio recording.
Right.
Yeah. So you were able to
But then
actually
again,
feel it.
we had audio recording of Betty and Barney Hill too, and I didn't believe that one.
You didn't believe that one.
No,
That is true. I did.
no.
I did.
So
Yeah.
just
All right.
saying.
Well, I think this is a great story because I love the whole idea of these two ships being worked on. I mean, there's some details that I don't
No,
fully
I think
understand.
that's so freaking cool.
It is so cool. That took off. I do not think that it was the Inuits. I don't think it was them working on anything. And I do believe that all the witnesses there were just erased from the files, not from life, but from the files. And that was just squashed after that. So, Andrew, you say it is a mostly true alien story. So do I. And there you have it, folks. It's a Project Blue Book investigator who spent years shutting down UFO reports until his own eyes saw something he could not explain. Andrew and I have weighed in. But what do you guys think? Was Colonel French, who was on the wharf next to 100 people telling the truth about what he saw underwater that day? Or is this just another story that's grown taller with time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and while you're here, hit subscribe and share this with someone who loves a mystery that doesn't stay buried. We'll be back next week with another true alien report, and we want to find out if that is mostly true or not. Until then, be kind to the aliens when they get here. Bye, Andrew.
Bye, Neil.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about dangers of unknown